So we got this little very small shed garage, and just barely big enough to fit the side-by-side and the big mower, and we got the little zero turn in there on the inside. But we got about 30 acres in total, and we mow pastures and yards and whatever. There's about 8 or 10 acres of mowing. So we got this 12-foot wide like athletic field mower. I bought it last year, used. It's a 2018, but it's in pretty nice shape, and so far it's held up well, except for our own abuse, and we'll show you the little repair we got to make on it today. So it's got a little 65 horsepower turbo diesel Kubota engine. Of course, the unit's made by Toro. They pretty much dominate the market for commercial, athletic field, golf course mowers like this, you know, the real mowers and the rotary mowers like this one. So I was mowing with it the other day, and with these bat wings fully deployed, you got to be super careful going around trees and obstacles. And I was watching one side, but the other side got me. So we'll get Matt to lower it down here. Lower them all. All of them. So there's 7 31-inch mowing decks, and you can see they just kind of float and go to the ground, and the suspension and all allows them to kind of glide over surfaces and terrains and all that. But you see right here, that one did not fully deploy, and you can see we got this shaft that's bent where I caught it on a tree or a stump or something. Use the corner of it and bend it before you know it. So that's what it's supposed to look like all the way on the ground. So they're spring loaded, so they do give you some cushion. You know, if you hit obstacles, they'll rebound off of that spring and allow it to kind of glide up and over stuff. But if you hit something really hard, it's, nothing you can do about that. Maybe go up a little more. I think we had to tap it out last time, huh?
Yeah. I'm gonna avoid that. Well, it's tapping it in. It's the problem.
so we got to straighten this shaft. We drove back over to the shop just about 5 miles down the road from, or 4 miles down the road from our little family ranch property. So this is a new one, a 10-foot, 275 ton, 6+1 axis machine. And we're gonna use it, you know, we need to burn this thing in, test it a little bit, make sure it's calibrated correctly. So let's get the power onto it. The other day, Matt got out here and got it wired up and got fluid in it. So it should be booting up now. Use it to straighten this shaft with. We'll probably use about 10, 15 tons. So there's the shaft. All right, so to use a machine like this to, you know, as a press, I don't really recommend a lighter weight, you know, even like that 8-foot, 145 ton machine right there. You can see this thing's got like a 4-inch plate here and a 3.5-inch ram plate. It's a massive, you know, 275 ton machine. So we're gonna use 10, 20 tons in a small area. And so it's no problem. But the one thing, like, I love old school operators because they know all the details and controls of, you know, using machines in ways maybe it wasn't exactly designed for. But the normal operation on a press brake like this is a fast ascent down to just above the top of the material and then slow into the forming cycle and then a quick retract. Well, when you're trying to straighten out a shaft, you don't want it dropping down. It's gonna slam right into that. So you need to make some tuning adjustments to the machine. So people that buy machines from me, I have a detailed video series on all these advanced tuning features here that allow you to have a lot of control over what's happening with the ram for these odd jobs like this. So, but here's, you know, just like what you normally would expect. Let's see, let's give it an angle here. We'll just say 100 degrees since I've not checked the calibration on this. But you'll see how fast it's coming down right at the material and then slows. Yeah, you see that way overbent that. Oh, I might have, oh, that's why. So it says it's got 039, this is 060. So that's why it overbent it, but you get the idea. So we need to get this thing slowed way down and have it drop pretty fast down to, you know, well, let's get the shaft in there and take a look at it first. What the hell is this? Oh, we got a nice little V groove right here. And so if you saw it drop down fast, this is gonna clang into that and probably just knock it out of the way. So let me make a few adjustments and get this thing operating slowly. Adjustments, let's see if we can get it to slow down somewhere above the material and then creep into it. But now we have it moving really slow. Well, we can just bump into it and bump it and bump it and bump it. We could actually speed that up a little bit. It's a little bit on the slow side, but let's see what we got. All right, so we just stuck a little bit of aluminum in there to kind of just protect that tooling a little bit. And I keep a few extra pieces of this, so if we mess it up, I'll put a new section in there for this machine going to a customer. So we got a little bit of aluminum to protect it. And the nice thing about these bigger machines, we got a long foot pedal, so we can get way back from it. And yeah, we're just gonna bump it down and keep an eye on it as we go here. I'm gonna zoom in there where you can see. I can just bump the foot pedal and let off. Just kind of keep checking it. Let's see how much tons we have it set for, just out of curiosity. So it's right now, based on how we have it configured, it's using 11 tons. So it ain't taking any tonnage to bend that with that much span, you know. You see it's got some resistance now pushing back up against it. All right, now we're gonna hit the left foot pedal, raise it back up, and you'll see a spring back happen. So we got a little bit of a spring back in there. All right. Really close. Need a little bit more. We can try to bump this back a little straight in this. Yeah, you can see we got a little bend in it right there. So let's bring that closer together here. So we've adjusted the setup a little bit. It's got a little kink in it right there. All right, go a little bit more. Using a lot more tonnage right there. So if you see the gap on the end, it's sitting in there flush. And if we rotate this, it did have a high spot where it was rotating up and it had a gap right here, but I think we're good right there. I think we can get that back in the machine and it'll run just fine. So let's run. To crank it up and lower it down and see if we can work it back up on the shaft. All right, I think it needs to. That's probably too low because this pivots. Okay. Go to your right just a little bit. Right hand push a little more. There you go. Slightly bound up. There we go. Same thing on the right. It's wanting to bind on the left. There we go. All right, we'll bolt it back up and let's see it cut.